Hey, Pathfinders, how's it going? What is going on? It's your girl, Deborah the Queen, the host of Light the Path podcast. And look, as promised, I got Detective Courtney Spikes for this episode, Grace Under Pressure, the strength behind the badge. Now, make sure that you subscribe on all social media platforms. Follow right here on YouTube if you're watching. We would love to hear you and read your comments as we navigate this. Look, let me do our intro again because y'all gotta know who I'm talking about, okay? Look, my guest, the Detective Courtney Spikes, is a trailblazer in law enforcement with over a decade of service at both the local and federal levels. As the only Black female detective in her department and a leader on the special response team, she's built a reputation for resilience, integrity, and excellence in spaces where representation is rare. So, Pathfinders, get ready. We're going to be talking about leadership, legacy, balance, and all the things. Help me welcome Detective Courtney Spikes.
Hi.
Hey, look, thank you so much for joining Light the Path podcast. I appreciate you.
I'm glad to be here, girl. I'm glad to be here.
Look, we got so much to catch up on, but look, for people who don't know, you served in law enforcement for over a decade,
Right.
breaking barriers and setting standards. Okay. What
Hey.
motivated you to step into this field, and how have you stayed the course when moments it wasn't easy?
Yeah. And it's a lot of those moments, but a lot of little girls say it that they're daddy's girls, but I'm the dictionary version of a dad of a daddy's girl for real. Like all little girls want to be like their mom. No, I wanted to be like my dad, and my dad served over 36 years. And still to date, 2025, he is still the only Black chief of police that DeRitter has ever had, and started that before I was born. Waited until I was in college and about to get out of college to retire, but still to date, the only Black chief of police that DeRitter has ever seen.
Courtney, this is my first time hearing this. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. So, as part of the special response team, you face intense, like high stakes situations. How do you prepare mentally and spiritually to stay grounded in those moments?
So crazy thing is that wasn't even something that I wanted to do. So I'm the field supervisor for our narcotics task force. And my boss is actually the special response team commander. So it was kind of like we do our own search warrants. So you're gonna go to SWAT school. So he made me, and I'm glad that he did because it made me a lot more confident with myself, and like I can do this. Like this is not a normal thing for girls to be on SWAT or special response as we call it, but it was kind of a voluntold type of thing, and I'm glad that he did it. I love my boss. I'm glad that he did it, but um being grounded and in this field, being mentally grounded and taking care of your mental, you have to be real intentional about that. And one thing that I've always done is a lot of people, my law enforcement family is my family because of course I spend more time with them than I do my actual family. But I I try to keep that world at the door. Like when I walk in my house, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a godmother. I leave that where it is. I try, like, a lot of my friends are not law enforcement. So they keep me grounded, letting me know I'm more than just that badge. It's so much more behind that badge, and you have to be real intentional with making sure you take care of you as a person because if you don't have anything to pour into that job, and nor do you have anything to pour into your real life, because this is real life. When you come home, it's you and your kids and what really matters, so that I can go out there and have a clear state of mind to do what I need to do at work.
Yeah, I mean, oh, that's so good. Making sure you, it's such a fine line, right? Especially being a mom, being a woman. It's just like, it's such a fine line. So, as the only Black female detective in your department, what does representation mean to you? Like, how did this even happen? How is there only one in 2025?
In 2025, right? You would
Is
think.
that the year of this?
And I've been the only one my entire time at my department. Now, I had a good role model growing up. She actually worked with my dad, and she still stayed in law enforcement. Her name is Miss Michelle Pierce, and she is a role model. Um, shows show me how to keep it together being a woman, because even though I have a white boss, he still tells me that I'm going to have it 200 times harder than anybody else, because I'm a woman. They already don't think that we belong there. And then I'm a Black woman. Two times they don't think that we belong there. But just in spite of showing people that you are supposed to be there, and a lot of times I'm better qualified for it than a lot of y'all that got there, because you had a last name, or, a buddy. So I purposely went to the sheriff's office, because I didn't want anybody to say I got anything that I've achieved, because my dad was chief of police. I did not go to the police station. And for the first 2 years, my dad didn't even know I was a cop.
Say what? How
Yes,
did you
girl.
keep this from your daddy, who is the
Because
chief of police?
right. And he was retired already. That's one way.
Okay,
But
okay, okay.
so I still had a job. I was working at the hospital, and I was just doing the police work part time in narcotics. So I did my entire career in narcotics. Like, I've never like worked patrol or anything like that. I did my whole stint in narcotics. But the downside of having a dad that is well respected is, after a while, my sheriff was like, I'm not going to keep running into your dad at the post office and not tell him that you work for me. So I finally had to tell him. And my dad is very quiet and very soft spoken. He does not say a lot. When we were in trouble as kids, two words and you knew to get somewhere. But he he was mad. He didn't say a lot to me about it. And then I guess it kind of grew on him, and he understood that you got a little girl who wants to be like you. And now we have conversations. Now he gives me, advice and stuff like that. But it was rough, because like I said, I am a daddy's girl, and it was so much stuff that happened in those 2 years that I wanted to run to him and talk to him about. But thank the Lord for my best friend, who encouraged me to stay the course. Like, she really has been a backbone, because it's plenty of times that I would come home and I would cry it out and tell her, like, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it. I don't want to be here anymore. It's not worth it to me.
Why? Let me just ask you. This is the final thing I'm gonna ask, because you know what? We're gonna have to do this again. We have to do a part two. We might have to do a part three, because this thing got too deep. I can't even get off of this that you didn't tell your daddy
No,
about this.
absolutely not.
Why did you want to keep this from him?
Because well, actually, growing up, he used to tell me that I could not date cops. He never told me I couldn't be one. I kind of figured, because he wanted to send me to school for any and everything that I wanted to go to school for, to keep me from doing that. So I knew that he would be, I'm not gonna say disappointed, but mad. And that's one thing I'm just not trying to do. I don't want my dad mad at me. I love my dad. I love my dad like so much. I love my dad. But he get it now. He get it.
Coco, your dad was still mad. He was still mad you came back for a long time.
He was. He was. And especially with a lot of what I was doing in narcotics, he was mad. Like I'm still his little girl. And that's another thing that people don't understand. In this career field, the attack on your character, they don't get that we're not just cops. Like I got feelings. I'm somebody's mama. You know, you really, they don't see that though. Like one uniform is all uniforms, and that's kind of what I try to do. I try to make people see that we're people outside of this, and it's okay to be your authentic self. My braids, my lashes, my nails, and be me, and still know that I can go out here and I'm not what a cop looks like, but what does that look like now? Like, how do you say what it looks like now?
That's real good. So they let you do your hair. Like, it is no regulations for that. Like the military, you got to have a certain this.
Um, I don't know if it's everywhere. I know they can't say anything about the braids. They nitpick with my nails, but I shoot my gun just fine with them on. Yeah, that they're
Ooh.
quicker to talk about tattoos than they are any of that. And then you walk a fine line when you are a white man addressing a black woman about her hair and her, stuff that makes us us. So I think that's a lot of reason why, certain stuff they don't say anything about, because they feel like, I always feel like when you are borderline racist, you think too much about what it is you say, rather than, her hair out of regulation or whatever, and then say something to me about it. Because we have men there that have dreads, because right now in this administration that we have now, we have more black employees than we have ever had, which still not a lot, but we have way more than what I've seen there since I've been there.
Mm. Look, Courtney, we got to do a part 2 on this. We might have to do a part 3 on this. But look, Pathfinders, remember that sharing our experiences is not only empowering, it can help light the path.